We will start to speak about errors now. Okay, then the last time we changed the port. For example, I advise you if you need to change the port to put 81 as a port to listen. For example, for Apache, here 81, and you can stop and restart. When you did that, in fact, you need to, if you do localhost like before, you will have finally an error. Then, to avoid this error, you need to add manually here as a port you have here. If you change it, you can also use the second one without problem. It's the first error we see, but I will come back to the classic port. Then okay, which is 80. And I will come back to the classic SSL port, which is 443. Okay. Then I restart, and I have the classic stuff. Then I can do again localhost. Okay, we are here. I will show you now different errors that you use to do when you code. For example, if we take one of the script we did before in video lessons, for example, we can take temperature. The main error you will have is the lack of a semicolon. When you don't put a semicolon, you have this error, and you see that usually you need to use semicolon to end a command. Then semicolon is missing in line 6. But you see that the parse error indicates the line 7. Then there is error in the error usually. Then the syntax error don't give you exactly the good place where to change. Then it's the first things you will have. The first error you will have a lot is the lack of semicolon. Then you need only to do again the semicolon and it's okay. The second error you will often have as beginner is this error, use of indefinite constant assumed temperature in line 6. Why? Because we are expecting a variable and not a constant. In fact, we could have a constant. The constant is defined in this way. Define temperature. I will close my. Okay, define temperature 322, and now we have the constant defined. But if you put a $, it's not a constant. It's a variable. Then we repeat, there is a lack of semicolon. And you see that here there is no problem because it's the last command. But if I add echo, okay, we will have an error. Then you can avoid to put a colon at the last line, but I really advise you to put colon everywhere at each end of line, even if it's the last line. Note that also in terms of syntax, that things can work without ending the PHP, and a lot of scripts in PHP don't have as a closure to. It works, and there is no problem, it works perfectly. But one time again, I advise you to close. Okay. Then you have the syntax error. We repeat the syntax error that you correct line width, line 8 is in fact like 7. We correct to adding the semicolon, and we have often the lack of dollar in front of a variable. Here you have a new error, syntax error expect equal. Why? Because we are using a constant, and PHP doesn't like this way to do. Because when we define a constant, it's like this only, and we can't use the sign equal. Then here we are trying to define a constant with an equal, which is not good. Then we come back to the variable. Okay. Then we have seen the two major errors you can have. The other major error you can have is to include a file which don't exist, which is the case, for example, for this file, because I miss one variable. Okay. A second stuff also is to caps, no caps. In Windows, it won't play a lot. You can put caps and not caps, there is no problem. But when you will push your script on a server, on a Linux server, caps and not caps will be very important. Then I advise you to really be careful about the caps you are using or not using. And function here is without caps. Then use exactly the same name of files. Then you are more or less the three common error as beginner you can have. Not the good port. If you do setting at these levels, syntax error, colon miss, dollar miss, you can have this error, or you can have this error. And the lack of caps, no caps stuff. For Windows there is no impact, but for Linux you will have a big impact. Then try to use exactly the same caps, no caps you have in your different files. For the next lesson we will continue after with a function, and we will begin to make our first scripts. Then I give you bye bye and to the next time.